For nearly 6 years, a man in India sat behind a desk, wielded a gavel, and ruled on legal disputes as if he had every right to. People paid him real money, sometimes life savings, to resolve land conflicts quickly. He wore the role convincingly, with people posing as lawyers and court staff around him to complete the illusion of a genuine legal proceeding. There was just one problem. He wasn't a judge, a lawyer, or an arbitrator appointed by any actual court. The entire tribunal, every ruling, every hearing was completely fake, run out of an office in Gandhinagar, Gujarat, made to look exactly like a real courtroom. By the time police caught up with him in October 2024, this one man's fake rulings had affected more than 100 acres of land, worth billions of rupees, across at least 11 properties. And remarkably, this wasn't even his first arrest for pretending to practice law. This is the story of Morris Samuel Christian, the man who ran his own court for years and got away with it far longer than anyone should have been able to. Land disputes in India can take years, sometimes decades, to resolve through the regular court system. Christian offered something that sounded too good to be true: a fast resolution. He claimed to be an arbitrator under a real legal provision, Section 89 of the Civil Procedure Code, which does allow certain disputes to be settled outside a full trial. The catch is, being an arbitrator under that provision requires actual legal authority. Christian had none. Investigators say he forged a circular claiming he'd been appointed as an arbitration counselor by the principal judge of Gandhinagar, and used that fake document to lend legitimacy to everything that followed. Christian built an entire physical performance around the lie. He set up a well-furnished office in Gandhinagar designed to resemble a real courtroom, complete with the trappings of legal authority, and had accomplices posing as lawyers and court staff, going through the motions of formal hearings and rulings inside a space with no legal authority whatsoever. For someone desperate to resolve a property dispute quickly and unfamiliar with what a genuine arbitration tribunal actually looks like from the inside, the performance was apparently convincing enough to work, again and again, for years. He charged clients hefty fees, positioning himself as an official, government-appointed arbitrator who could deliver swift, binding rulings that a real court might take years to reach. What makes this case so alarming is that his fake rulings had real, lasting consequences. In 2019, in a dispute over government land, Christian issued an order awarding ownership to a client, an order that actually directed a district collector to update real government land records in the Paldi area of Ahmedabad. A completely fabricated ruling, issued by a man with no legal authority, ended up altering genuine government property records. Investigators found his fake rulings collectively touched more than 100 acres of land across at least 11 properties. This wasn't Christian's first offense either. Back in 2007, he was arrested for practicing as a lawyer without any valid law degree and served 3 months. He'd also falsely claimed membership in something called the International Bar Council, a claim the Gujarat Bar Council specifically dismissed. Years before his final arrest, a district collector had actually sealed his fake courtroom once, and the Gujarat High Court had stayed several of his fraudulent rulings, with Christian facing contempt proceedings over it. Yet after some time passed, he simply reopened his fake court and kept going for nearly 6 more years. The scheme finally fell apart during an unrelated court proceeding. A man named Babjuji Thakur brought a land ownership claim to the Real City Civil Court in Ahmedabad, and something didn't add up. The claim was based on a ruling from a tribunal that didn't actually exist within any legitimate legal framework. Hardik Desai, a civil judge serving as court registrar, discovered Christian was neither a recognized arbitrator nor was his ruling genuine, and filed the formal complaint that finally triggered his arrest. Christian was charged under Section 170 of the Indian Penal Code for pretending to hold the office of a public servant, and Section 419, cheating by personation, along with criminal breach of trust, forgery, and providing false information to government servants. Together, those charges capture the full scope of what he actually did, impersonating legal authority, charging fees under false pretenses, forging an appointment document, and directing a real government office to alter land records based on a fake ruling. As unusual as this sounds, it wasn't isolated. In the years leading up to Christian's arrest, Gujarat had already seen a string of similar impersonation cases make headlines. Fake teachers operating without real qualifications, fake police officers with counterfeit credentials, and even fake doctors practicing without any legitimate medical training. Local commentary at the time joked darkly that the state had become a hub for producing convincing fakes across nearly every profession imaginable. All of these cases exploited the same basic gap between how long real institutions take to act and how badly people want a faster answer. Step back, and this raises an uncomfortable question: what actually makes a legal ruling real? On paper, very little separates a genuine arbitration tribunal from Christian's fake one. A room, some paperwork, people playing roles, and a decision handed down with apparent authority. The only real difference is legitimate legal appointment and oversight, something that isn't always easy to verify for someone in the middle of a stressful dispute. That's exactly why laws against impersonating a public servant exist. The justice system depends on people trusting that whoever rules on their case actually has the authority to do so. It's worth sitting with just how long this actually took to unravel. Christian wasn't some anonymous stranger operating in the shadows. He'd already been arrested once, his office had already been sealed once, and Gujarat's own high court had already stayed several of his rulings and held him in contempt. Every warning sign was there, on the record, years before his final arrest. And yet the system that caught him once simply let him walk back into the same scheme, because closing an office is not the same as permanently stopping the person who ran it. So next time you hear about a suspiciously fast, official-sounding legal shortcut, remember Morris Samuel Christian, the man who built an entire fake courtroom and used it to alter real government land records for nearly 6 years, not once but twice, across 2 decades. If you enjoyed this story, subscribe to Legal Loopholes for more real laws and real stories from around the world. Drop a comment and tell us the boldest scam or legal loophole you've ever heard of. We might cover it next. See you in the next video.